This week's episode of Life Planning 101 originally aired in 2022. Please enjoy. Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome to Life Planning 101 this cold November morning. My name is Angela Robinson. Here we are, Thanksgiving week. There is hope, maybe, for the Cowboys anyway. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude. Yes, it's Thanksgiving, right? It is that time of year to be thankful. But let's face it, it isn't always easy. And it isn't easy right now for a lot of people. I mean, this nation, this world for that matter, has had a pretty rough go of things over these past couple of years. And we just hope that things don't get worse before they get better. And not just that, not just those really big, awful things, but there's so much anger out there. And there's so much violence. And it's just heartbreaking. You look at this nation, and I've always said I like to think that we're a lot more together than the news likes to portray we are. But we are right now a nation divided, a nation that's hurting, a nation that has so much anger and violence. And probably more than any other time in history, with maybe a few exceptions, such as the Civil War or when things were so heated around the Civil Rights Movement. This is not a great time in our history. And I think we'll look back on this someday. And, there's a lot to be said for that. You add to that, money's tight. Woo, is it tight, right? When you consistently have inflation at the levels that we've seen inflation, those people that are on more of a fixed income, or even for families that were so-called comfortable, several months ago, money is tight. We're seeing credit card debt rack up higher than you've ever seen it before. Statistics show that the stress levels, and I guess this is no surprise if you add up everything I've just talked about, but the statistics show that our stress levels are extremely high, some of the highest they've been in decades. And on top of that, I think there's a lot of people that have felt isolation. COVID, I remember the very beginning of COVID, I had been traveling so much, and it was kind of like this relief. I remember going out there in our Ranger and sitting on top of the hill, and I said, I can breathe. I can breathe for a minute. I've been praying for things to be able to let me breathe, and it worked. And I think back, and I think that was a lot of people for half a minute. We thought we'd be able to slow down through that, but really it did the opposite. It's like we buried ourselves in a hole and we got busier. And because we got busier, we became busybodies, and we forgot how to feel. We forgot how to be humans. We forgot how to be a human being, and we were just a human doing. And one day we woke up and, oh my gosh, my friends, my social life, my family relationships, it's not what it was. And that isolation, the depression, lack of purpose, and straight up apathy. Those things are running deep in our country right now. And to simply put, we are a country that is hurting. Now, I am a God-fearing woman, and I'm going to tell you, I pray each and every day for this country to be healed. I pray each and every day for there to be a reckoning and love to win the day. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about gratitude. And I want to share a gem in my life, something that I came to know the year before we went to get our son in Nigeria. And it's something that I think if all of us would take to heart and use, it would change the world. It could have such a ripple effect that it would be an overnight success. So this Thanksgiving, gratitude isn't easy, but I'm going to give you a tool to help make it so. When we come back on Life Planning 101, you're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back to Life Planning 101. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland, Texas. And we're talking about gratitude this Thanksgiving when it's not easy, when we're in a world of hurt as a nation, as a country, sometimes even in our own homes, especially from a financial aspect. And there's a lot of pains out there. And so, talking about gratitude, because it is the season of Thanksgiving, how do you get there? How do you find it? And I had a coach. I want to share some of this year with you. And I'm going to tell you, I was blessed to have him as a coach. I was blessed to have him as a coach at a time in my life when I was leaving for a third world country. And fear is a liar. I'm a woman of faith, right? Fear is a liar. But this man was put here to help me keep my faith. And it was pretty powerful. And he doesn't even know it. But he's a man by the name of Lee Brower. And you may know him. You may know of him. So he was actually featured in that book, in the movie. And if you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend you see it. It's called The Secret. Great show on how powerful the unconscious mind is and how to be able to, utilize that to your favor and not allow the devil to utilize it, so to speak. But Lee also founded what's called Empowered Wealth. And he's got and these are trademark, the Empowered Wealth mindset, and he's got sustaining prosperity. And, his whole business is focused on helping families build a framework for their legacy that is going to continue to flourish from generation to generation. A lot of people, our business included, here we are, a life planning firm, and we help people with legacy planning. And this is actually a part of something we do, is to refer to people like Lee, at specific times, but we focus a lot on the money, right? We're helping families transfer wealth. And that's what they do, but that's really not the most important part, right? The most important part is transferring on those values, the traditions, your faith, your work ethic, the things that are most important to you. And yes, I'm going to tell you, I was blessed to have this guy as a coach, right? One-on-one. It was impressive. And one of the first sessions that I had with Lee, he talked about practicing true gratitude. And by the way, hang tight, because I'm going to give you some links and resources to be able to go and get a glimpse into what I got to experience. It's truly a treasure. But he taught about gratitude having different depths. Okay. So the first thing of gratitude, and there's actually 4 different depths here. So hang with me. But the first level of gratitude is kind of that nonchalant greeting you have with society. I think of saying, "Oh, please pass me the gravy," or, "Thank you for opening the door for me," or "Thank you," or, "Yes, sir," "Yes, ma'am." These are, nonchalant greetings that we use, and we're trained to use when we're very young, right? I'm always correcting my kids. "Yes, sir." "Yes, ma'am." And I actually heard Brian's teacher do it yesterday, and I just loved it. But, there's not a lot of depth to that, right? Those words are just kind of go in motion. And sometimes they have a little more meaning than others. Sometimes there is some intentional expression, right? But most of the time, they're just kind of surface level. And then there is a second level, and it's more of an intentional expression of gratitude. So I really do appreciate my husband doing the dishes. And if I tell him, "I appreciate you doing those dishes, honey, it really, really helped me," that is more of an intentional expression of gratitude. I really mean it, right? And I'm taking a focus and a time out to be able to say how much that means to me. And that's really important. Third level of gratitude goes a little deeper. So when the world is crashing down around you, how do you find gratitude? In those depths, in the darkness. And Lee Brower lost his son to cancer. And he'll tell you he was never grateful for the cancer. But he'll also tell you there's nothing in life that doesn't bring about learning. And there's always a way to find gratitude in something. From the ashes, you rise. And I think sometimes the harder the situation that you're going through, the more you have to gain from that situation. And it's hard to see it as such. If I'm telling you that today and you're listening to this and you're going through something, you might even be mad at me for saying that at this moment. It makes you feel angry, right? But when you're able to stop and get to a point that you can reflect on what you've gone through and learn from it and be better because of it, God even tells us he'll make all things good of those who love him. And I think that's really important to remember. All things, there is some goodness that can be made out of that. And that's hard to find. That's really hard to find sometimes. But you got to focus on it. Because if you don't focus on it, you just focus on the darkness. And that's not good. So what does that bring about? What learning does that bring about, right? That's only level 3. Let's go deeper. There is also a level 4. There is an intentional gratitude. You see, the first 3 levels of gratitude can really be seen as a choice in your attitude, as Lee puts it. A choice in your attitude. You choose to be polite. You choose to make sure you go out of your way to say thank you when someone has done something nice for you. You choose to find the light in the learning in the darkness. Those things you choose. You choose to have the attitude, the positive attitude. And that's a lot of times where we stop as a nation. And we say, that's gratitude. That's what it is. That's everything it is, right? That's what we learn. I mean, my son comes home with this beautiful little turkey they made at school, right? It's got these feathers on it. And the things he's grateful for. Seely, daddy, friends, mommy. Those are things he's grateful for. It's great to recognize it. But there's something missing with all that. And when we come back on Life Planning 101, I'm going to tell you what that is. And I'm going to tell you how you can focus on it this Thanksgiving. How this Thanksgiving can be the first Thanksgiving to really start making a change. Making a change, not just for you, but for this country, this world that's hurting so much today. And you're not going to want to miss it right here on Life Planning 101 when we come back. Welcome back to Life Planning 101. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. And if you have missed any of the show on gratitude, I highly recommend you go back and look at it. You're also going to want to go to our website this week because we are going to have links and resources to some of the things that I have been talking about and will be talking about. You go to www.kennedy-financial.com. Make sure you're signed up for our weekly Life Lessons newsletter, and you will get the corresponding article that's going to go with this with the links in it. Very, very valuable resources. Now, if you haven't noticed, we're really not talking about anything financially today. We are Kennedy Financial Services, but we are a life planning firm, and we are helping people live life on purpose. That is our mission. And first and foremost, you have to be a person that wants to live life on purpose, that wants to have a great mindset about your future being bigger than your past and being grateful in life. And so this is what this show is about this Thanksgiving week, is to talk about gratitude in one of the darkest moments of our country's history, probably in our lifetime, one of the darkest moments of that time, right? And when I say darkest moments, I'm kind of coupling up a couple years of what we've been through and the stress that we're going through as a nation and all these changes that are happening, and as a world, what's going on. So, we talked about gratitude. We talked about gratitude being an attitude by the words of Coach Lee Brower, who, by the way, again, if you missed that segment, you got to go back and listen because these 4 levels of gratitude are huge. But we're going to jump right into the deepest level, right? And I want to tell a story that Lee told, and it's called the chump at the pump, right? So a lady at a gas station, she just intentional on wanting to help someone without expecting anything in return. And so she goes over and she rushes to swipe her card, another pump. And the stranger starts to get out of the car and says, "Hey, what are you doing? This is our pump." And the lady answers, she says, "Well, I'd like to fill up your car." And the stranger says, "Well, you better hurry. We're on the way to a casino for our mother's birthday, and we were only going to put $5 in." Well, the lady asked, well, do you mind if I fill it up? I'd really like to do that. And so the stranger allows it, and they get done. And the lady says to that stranger, she says, well, thank you for letting me fill up your car today. And the stranger replies, you're welcome. And then she gets in the car and pulls away. Well, you can imagine if that were you, how would you be feeling? You'd be a little challenged not to be frustrated, call, vent to your husband, vent to your friends, of course, right? And she's sitting there mulling over her thoughts, and then the car comes back, and the back door gets opened up, and out crawls this little lady that's barely able to stand on her own. And she opened her arms in welcoming a hug and said, thank you. Say, it's my 90th birthday today, and nobody has ever done anything so nice and gracious for me. Now, this is what we call intentional gratitude. This level of gratitude is different. It's not a choice of attitude. It's a choice of doing something for someone without expecting anything in return. Now imagine that stranger didn't come back. And the lady told her husband, her friends, about her frustration. What ripple effect would that have? Probably a good chance that next time someone went to do a random act of kindness, they'd think twice, maybe not even do it, so on and so forth. But what if that didn't happen, right? We know that didn't happen. So the 90-year-old, she went to the casino. You think she told anybody? She probably told everybody, right? But what happened? Now think of that ripple effect. Think of what that might have inspired someone else to do. It's pretty powerful. So it's Thanksgiving. As the word implies, thanksgiving. We've got it all jacked up. Even the school's got it jacked up. We got a turkey. I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for. You know, I was writing this article out, and what I had it come to me was, this was for me. This wasn't for you. Love ya, but it wasn't for you. It was for me. I needed a reminder about what is the most important thing in life, and it starts in the home. It starts where we are right now and who we are right now. And we implemented a challenge, a family challenge last night. Each one of us is going to have 3 simple random acts of kindness done before Thanksgiving. That includes my kids. You should have heard some of the ideas floating around. Brian thought he could just pull out his own chair, and that would definitely be a random act of kindness. I guess he makes someone else do it. I'm not sure. But anyway, I look forward to hearing what they come home with today and how that ripple effect might be able to start thinking about that. Man, it gives you chill bumps, right? Here we are in a world that's hurting so bad, and we feel like there's nothing that we can do about it. Well, we are wrong. We are so wrong. We can do something about it. We can give thanks. Give thanks. We can do things for no reason whatsoever and start a ripple effect that creates a tidal wave across this great nation, across the world. Yes. Our world is a mess, but the cleanup can start in each of us this way. Now, Lee, let's go back to that for a second. This is really good. So in our newsletter this week, we're going to have a few things. His book, we'll have a link to that. It's called The Brower Quadrant, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You can actually take a look on his website while you're there and see things. And then I'm also going to link a YouTube video he did. It's a pretty good size little video, but, listen to it while you're driving, while you're working out, while you're doing something. Get your family to listen to it, get your friends to listen to it. I sent it to the team yesterday, but it talks about practicing true gratitude because he's got some other tips and tidbits in there. He started, having his family come home and they would have to say 3 things they're grateful for every single day. To start thinking in that respect, thinking in that manner. He's got many, many more. But what a better time of year to start some new traditions, to do some new things. And we're always thinking about the fun and the this and the that, and those are great. Those are great. But when we wake up on Monday morning, life goes back to life. And what have we done to make the world a better place? Between when we left to celebrate a time of giving thanks and we come back to consumption on Monday. So let's make it a challenge. What can you do to start the ripple of gratitude? What can you do so that when we arrive here next year, we can look back over this last season of our life and we can say, from ashes we rose. My name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group right here in the great town of Eastland, Texas. I am blessed. Man, I'm blessed. I got a great family. I work with a great team. I got a great God. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And make sure to join us next week on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't forget to learn how our sister company can assist you with all of your tax and consulting needs. You can find out more at briscoeandassociates.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.